Hi everyone, welcome back. Welcome back. Sorry, I lost network for a while. I don't know what exactly happened. But I'm back though. So please, if you're there, let's get this going. We are still on the becoming conversation. All right, we're still on the becoming conversation and transmitting live to Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn. And there was a bit of a network glitch, so I had to log out and log in again. So I'm not sure if you can see me and if you can hear me. Please just drop a comment on whatever platform that you're on. If you're on Facebook, go ahead and drop a comment so that I can see from the live studio here that you can hear me clearly and that you can see me clearly. If you're on YouTube, please do drop a comment. If you're on Facebook, I'm checking my dashboard to see if you're on LinkedIn as well. Please do drop a comment and let's get this on. These all the for the breakup there. All right. Okay. Great. Thank you, Chiamaka. Thank you for letting me know that we're back. All right. So I was talking about. So I was talking about process. I was talking about process, right? And process is integral to anything you want to be. In fact, I'm not worried about what your outcome is, as much as I'm worried about the process. All right. And process is key because the process, as I will say many times, the process validates the process gives you credibility. The process makes you to a certain degree and to many extent. And so the process of what you're going through, listen, a man that has gone through a process of things can talk about it. The process also gives you understanding, and in many regards, it gives you mastery in that situation to a degree. So the process is very key. The process gives you capacity to not just know how to do a thing, the process gives you the innate to also know how not to do a thing. Can I tell you a secret? I can tell you something from the marketplace. The person that earns the highest is not the one that knows how to do a thing. Because you see, too many people know how to do a thing, but the real one is the one that knows how to solve a problem when things go wrong. Now, so what am I saying here? The process doesn't only show you how to do a thing, he shows you how to do a thing so much that you know how not to do it wrong. In other words, you don't just practice to get it right, you practice so that you can't get it wrong. Let me say that again. You don't just practice so that you get it right, you practice enough so that you can't get it wrong. The man that understands how to deal and how to troubleshoot and how to deal with a broken system will command more commercial value than the man that simply knows how to follow the letters and go through. In short, the one that knows how to troubleshoot and deal with the problem is the one that writes the script for the man that follows, that simply just knows how to follow the rules and goes through. So you must know how to do, and you must know how not to do. If I am so interested in the man that knows how not to do. I am absolutely interested in the man that understands what the problems are, knows how not to, so that the flip side of it is that he understands how to. In my years of business development, consulting, and marketing, sales, and all of that, these are where the highest earnings have always come from. Always come from. So again, for those of you in the market space, when you're communicating your value, please also communicate. Besides, I can do this. Show them how you also understand what not to do, which makes you an authority in how to do. All right. So let's talk about process. I said I was going to give you an example about process, which is very key. So I take it from the Bible. All right. So the first Adam and the second Adam. So the first Adam, you know the story. God said, "Let us make man in our own image," and God put on him, and God gave him a mandate, and God gave him a garden, and God gave him animals, and he named the animals, and God put him to sleep and gave him a chick, gave him a babe fly girl, Eve. Eve so fly. And God gave him Eve. And he had everything that he had. All right, so let's move forward. Leave Genesis chapter 3. Let's jump on to Luke chapter 4. And then there was Jesus. And so he was born. So Adam was created man. Adam was created man. He had a beard. He had all the trimmings and all that. And so let's move forward to Jesus, the second Adam, right? As he was born in the manger. Hey, before the manger, there was already story, controversy. Mary, how did you get pregnant? Who is this? Joseph, my goodness, what is this? What am I doing? There were already issues. The whole world was already waiting to see. Let's see what the baby even looks like. Are you serious? Mary? Okay. And there was all that, born in the manger and everything and all the issues and the trappings. And then he was born a baby and he had to grow up. He had to go through stuff. He fell. He did all things. You think he walked on water? He didn't walk on water as a baby. He went through all of that. He cried for his food. He cried to sleep. He did all the things. He went through process. He learned how to relate with people. He learned how to deal with people. I mean, he was God, but he came into human form and dwelt with humanity and interacted with humanity and went through the process of growing. Even the Bible records that he grew in wisdom and stature. He grew. Note that he grew in wisdom and stature. He undergrew a process. Right. Fast forward, 30 years old, went through time and all of that, and then he came, and John the Baptist baptized him, and the heavens opened, and he was announced, "This is my son, whom I'm well pleased," and all of that, and everything happened. And then he went into the wilderness. And now here's my story, and this is really where my story begins. And so he went into the wilderness, and there was, and so let's go back to the first Adam. And so here's the first Adam. He's been given everything. He's been given a garden. The garden he didn't even have to tend it. The garden was already there. The garden was already being watered. My guy was just supposed to dwell in it, and in those days, probably take selfies all day. So it was right there. All right. And Eve has the encounter with the devil, has the encounter with the serpent. The serpent gives Eve. And then Eve comes to Adam, and at the first test, the very first test, Adam takes the apple from Eve and he fails. The first test. Let's fast forward back to the book of Luke. And there's Jesus. He's gone through days in the wilderness. He's gone through growing up through life. He's come under baptism. He's gone through a process. And then the devil comes to him and says, "Hey, turn this to bread, or jump from here, we'll catch you, or bow down to me, I will give you." But because of everything that he had gone through, he said to him, "It is written. It is written." And on the third encounter, he said to him, "It has been said." Now, whilst a lot of people read that portion and take the Bible stories away from it, the first thing that jumped at me in recent time as I was going over that was, oh my God, one person, both of them, directly from the Father, directly Jesus, God, Adam, created. One had process, the other didn't have process. At their first test, one failed, one referred, because process gives you where to refer to. It gives you experience of the build-up that allows you to refer back. You know how they say you refer in a situation, you refer to your home training. You refer to your experience. You refer to the things that you learned. You refer to your values. That's what process gives you. It gives you a reference point. Without process, you don't have a reference point. So process is key. Process doesn't just unveil. Process doesn't just bring to the place of you discovering yourself, of you becoming, of you beginning to be. Process also qualifies you to pass a test. So why would you hand over something of worth to someone who hasn't had a process? And here's the thing. Your process does not necessarily have to be have 50 years of experience. No, you know that in your life right now, your every day, by virtue of the fact that you're standing in the face of this earth and you have the grace of the breath of life trapped in your nostrils and you live every single day, do you know that there's something in your every single day that should be teaching you something and prepares you? Life is a project and you're a project manager. Every single thing qualifies you to be the project manager of your life. Everything. The real issue is that we don't connect the dots between our every experience. That's why somebody will go for, say, a job interview and they ask you what you can do. And because you have not had a 9-to-5 job before, for example, you can't think of anything. Meanwhile, you're the one that gets your siblings ready for school. You don't understand the import of that. You're the one that cooks meals. You don't even understand all that goes into cooking a meal and how that is a project in itself. Your ability to reason, to create, to analyze, your ability to measure, your ability to determine what needs to go in at what time. You don't understand that is something that qualifies you to be able to look at a system, a project, and know the kind of resources to release and at what point, because you think your story is insignificant. I came to tell you today that your story, your life, the life that you're living, that is part of your journey. It's a validation point for you. But since you don't understand it and you don't see it that way, you have not learned the lessons that you ought to learn from every experience that you've had in time past. Therein, ladies and gentlemen, is the real problem. Because you've had process. 10 years old, 12, 25, 30, 32, 45, doesn't matter. Life, the life that you live has shown you. God is not so unmindful of you that he won't have brought things your way that should sharpen your mind and should, as I said earlier, equip you for the future. God doesn't give you a vision and doesn't make provisions available for you. Your everyday experience is the provision that he has given that equips you, that builds your capacity, gives you differentiating competencies, and qualifies you to function in the fullness of who you are. Process. Process is absolutely key. Process is absolutely necessary. Process brings you to the point of you saying that, oh, okay, now I know why. Because your process, along the journey of your process, what then happens therefore is that you begin to develop what we call prioritization. You begin to have an understanding, and prioritization, as I will always say, is not what you feel good about, is not what feels nice, is not what feels great, is what you can't do without. The process reveals to you what you can't do without. The process reveals to you that you can't do without, that you must become, you must unveil. So becoming therefore becomes, right? Becoming therefore is the process of unveiling you to you. Did I go too fast? Did I lose you? Did I run a bit too fast? All right, did you get that? The process is absolutely key. The process is everything. Oh, I can't tell you enough what the process does. I can't tell you enough what process does for you. Don't run away from process. Too many people say, oh my God, this journey is too much. The process is too much. Let me tell you something. In life, right? In life, there will always be two things that you must never succumb to. Hear me, you must never succumb to in the process: pressure and pleasure. Pressure and pleasure. Two things. All right. So Chemaka says, you didn't get that. Chemaka, trust me. I said, I will be repeating myself as we go along. All right. Pressure and pleasure. Many times The management of the things that come your way, as you very well know, is not the journey that you have to go to that matters. It's how you go through that journey that matters. Is the most important thing. I mean, look at the Bible, for instance. The historians and theologians tell us that between Egypt and the Promised Land, if the Israelites had walked in a straight line, all right, every single day that walked in the straight line, and you can Google this up, it will tell you it's fact. If they walked in the straight line, it will have taken them 11 days to go from Egypt to the Promised Land. 11 days. But because of their murmuring, grumbling, and every other thing that disbelief and complaints and all of that. I said it last week, complainers remain. Murmurers, I don't know what happens to them, but complainers remain, all right? Those who complain remain where they are. So because of all their complaints and all of that, they were there for 40 years. It's not what you go through that's most important, it's how you go through what you go through. The process is very key. In the process, you will feel pressure, you will yearn for pleasure, but how you manage it is important. Let me explain that to you quickly in 2 seconds, all right? So pressure has two abilities. Number one, it can stretch you or it can confine you. When you let pressure confine you, so much so that you lose your mojo, you lose your inner strength, your inner conviction, your zeal, what happens is that you become confined. Anything that is confined is stagnated. Everything that is confined is limited. Everything that is nearest expression. In other words, what you should do is allow pressure to stretch you, because when you stretch, everything that is inherent with you finds expression. Everything that is within you finds an outlet. Your giftings find an outlet. Your talents find an expression. Everything that God has placed within you, blessed you with, finds an outlet. And once you're able to find an outlet, what happens? You're now able to solve problems. What happens with the problems you solve? People recognize the value carry because there's now an expression. The world eagerly awaits the manifestation of the sons of God. They wait for an outlet, the manifestation. So when you let pressure stretch, what you're actually doing is it's like pressure putting you in a show glass, and then that situation is simply showing you off to the world. And people say, wow, how did she do that? I need her. We need her in this organization. We need her to come and consult for us. We need her to do this for us. We need her. We need to listen to her. She has a story to tell, because what pressure she'll do to you is to stretch you. And when it stretches you, it gives you room for expression. In other words, you are a masterpiece in the show glass, and the show glass is turning around, and it's turning around, and it's turning around, and the world is looking at you, and your world and your space, your sphere of influence is looking at you, and they say, oh my God, she has that. God, she has tenacity. We need tenacity. God, she has resilience. We need resilience. She has, oh my goodness, she has a good attitude in the tough situation. This is the kind of we need speaking to our staff. She has this and she has that. This is the kind of person we need on our team. But you let the pressure confine you and the pleasure confine you as well. If you let it confine you and you're like, oh, no, I can't take it anymore, I give up. What happens is that you lose the opportunity to show what you're made of. Remember what you are made of. What you are made of. Becoming, I repeat, is you beginning to be who you are. The process delivers who you are. Your legacy is the outcome of who you were. Because your legacy means that after you've done what you've done, people are reaping from the things that you've done, even when you've left. We talked about legacy last week, yeah? So the process is key. The process is absolutely important. The process is the best school that you can go to. It teaches you. Don't run away from process. It's very important. Don't run away from process. It's absolutely important. Process is key. And when you've gone through the process, you're now qualified to knock. and to take the opportunities. You become an authority. You can speak to a situation because you understand that situation. You've come to the expression of who you are, functioning in your purpose, where everything that is wired for you to win and where you're equipped to excel. There's absolutely no way that you won't be making an impact in your very existence. Impact. I don't have to. There are things right now that if I tell you guys that, look, listen, I came on, I had a nap. I just woke up. I woke up about 40 minutes ago. I was on the phone with a friend in the UK. I was on the phone with another friend in Canada. And then I came online and I'm talking to you. I didn't have to go write notes. And why? Because I'm simply sharing with you what I understand. I don't need to write notes. Many of my speaking engagements, see, guys, don't tell them. Many of my speaking engagements is from my heart. What do? I either will share my story or share my experience. Whichever way, I will share my understanding of the matter. I will never speak on what I don't understand. I will seek to understand it and seek to engage it so I can qualify to talk about it or to be engaged in it or to practice it. I will speak about what I do. If I wake you up at 2 a.m. in the morning and I ask you, what's your name? You don't struggle to tell me. You don't say, my name is Aniakan Anthony. No. You wake up and my name is Aniakan Anthony. Do you know what I'm saying? It's you. Now that brings me to this part. Becoming is a thing of the heart. Remember, it's who you are. It's not who you are trying to be. You're trying to figure out who you are. You're not trying to be something. That's why I say it's not a mutation. It delivers who you are. Becoming is a thing of the heart. There's a difference between and becoming. And I want to stress this before I close. There's a difference between being like. Being like, people who be like are people that are simply focusing on the act. People who become focus on the heart, identity, purpose, long-term intention. They focus on the heart. People who are being like focus on the act. So we will talk this way. We will do this way. We will dress this way. We will live this way. We will drive this way so that we will look this way. We will do this so that we will get this. But people who become are people who are what they do, and what they get is an expression of who they are. People who act are actors. Actors change when the lights go off. Actors change when the scripts change. So I can be an actor in the movie and I'm a farmer in this movie, and in the next movie, I'm a horse rider in that movie. In the next movie, I'm a baker or a lawyer. The scripts change, and so I act. Becoming has to do with identity. Actors act. People that have become, they be. I don't want you to be like. Hear me now. I don't want you to be like. I want you to become. And become starts from the place of your true identity. So the questions that we start with: who are you? What are you doing here? Where are you going to from here? Who are you? Who were you called to be? The first stage of your life is discovering that so that you can now live in purpose, for purpose. Because after you've asked the questions, you now discover that you are three things, or either of three things: the light, or a bridge, an illuminator that gives light to others, so the others can use your light to find their way their own light. One that gives clarity onto a generation, to the market space. One that is able to give infuse knowledge and raise people's deeper level of understanding of things, so that the quality of their lives and their experience on earth can be better. And so you become a man of immense value. There's six things I was going to talk about to you about people that create value. I don't know if I said the other time, or maybe we'll find the time. The maven, the synthesizer, the ideas person, the salesperson. I don't know if we talked about that, but maybe we'll do some other time. 6 people of value that you must be, whether in the workplace or in the society where you are. Six value points you must have. If you can have all 6, fine. If you're one of them, fine. If you can mix and have multiples of them, great. I'll deal with that later. But you must be a light. You must be a voice that guides, that guards, that gives direction, that wakes up, that calls forth an answer from the heart of the people around about you. That by your very presence and your time in the space of their life, something about them changes like never before. I discovered many years ago that I was called to be a light, a voice in the bridge. And from that day till now, and even to all the rest of my years upon this earth, and many long years, by the way, I will always just drive this message home as I live it, as I be it. Voice. And then the one I love the most, a bridge to connect people from the place of despondency to the possibilities of their potential. A bridge that creates opportunities for people and platforms for people to find expression and find themselves. And if you're able to be all of this, whether it's in the marketplace or whatever vocation that you're doing, or whatever your area of passion or the ministry that you're called to, if you're able to find all of this, you are living a good life. As they say in Nigeria, you're doing well. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what the becoming conversation is about. So I didn't just come just to share time with you. I came to wake up something in you. I don't want you being like too many people are running around being like. And there's a place for that, because you also must understand that part of all of this is, first of all, you taking recognition of who you are, where you stand in relation to every other thing, and being able to now bridge the gap relatively wise between where you are and where you want to be, connecting the dots, connecting the dots. And it requires your most authentic self. Because God doesn't breathe on who you're trying to be, God breathes on who you are. God doesn't bless who you're acting to be. God blesses who you are. He doesn't equip who you're trying to be, he equips who you are for where he's bringing you to. There is a you that you must know. And becoming is you simply just comes to that place of beginning to be who you are. All right. And if I say nothing else, trust me, guys, my assignment for today is done. I prayed over this episode ways before I came on, as I always do anyway. And my assignment is done. I feel that sense within me that, hey, you know what? Everything that you were meant to do today, you have done. So I want you to just, we have just a few more minutes to go. Just holler, get back to me. Send me chats. If you have questions, please show your questions now. Just about 5 minutes to go. If you have questions, otherwise we'll close. Ask your questions, and let me see whilst I go through the comment section. Let's see what Chairman can put up. Quite a lot there. It says people will become focused on the heart. People will become focused on the heart. Yes, on identity, an expression of who they are. From my place of true identity, absolutely. People who are being focused, who are being like, not being like. I want to be like. No, don't be like. Become. Focus on the act. All right, they change with the change in the script. When the lights go off, they change. Not because it's not permanent. There are no roots. It's not who they are. It's not who they are. It's not who they are. You know, the real challenge, and I say this, let me say this, because I've said this many times before. The real challenge is in the discovery of who we are. It's one of the most, coming to terms with who you are is one of the most powerful things. A man that knows who he is the most powerful man on earth. And I always give this analogy many times. And I said, look, God created man. So I'm just going to use this. God created man. He put man here. So this is God, rather. And he created man. He made you a little bit above the angels and all that. So he put you here. This is God. This is man. The enemy has an idea of who you are. And so the enemy has an idea that you're somewhere around here. Because of life and the situations of life, the battering, you were talked down upon, abuse, rejection, ostracization, all the things that you had to do with, racism, every single thing that you had to deal with at one point or the other, failure in school, inability to complete your test or your marks, the knocks on the head, rejection, boyfriend, girlfriend, people just treating you funny, everybody just getting funny on you all through life and all of that. You see yourself as being here. Now, God is here. He created you here. The enemy has an idea that you're somewhere here, but life told you that you're here and you believed life. Now, the enemy never fights you at the level of knowledge. He fights you at the level of your potential. So when he's bringing trouble and drama your way, where do you think he's channeling the trouble to? Here. Little wonder when you go through dire times and you go through tough seasons, you are crying, God, this is too much for me. And that it should lie. God will never give you more than you can bear. Because he knows that what the enemy is bringing your way, your potential and who I've called you to be is sufficient to deal with it. But your knowledge, limited as it is, keeps you here and gives you and makes you think that what you have to deal with is significantly overwhelming and you can't deal with it and you're going to run mad and it's more than you and it's everything. And he blinds you to the immense possibilities that God has placed within you. Imagine if you knew who you were or who you are. Imagine if you all of a sudden had a pick and you were able to ask yourself the right questions that brings you to the place of understanding and knowing. Imagine the kind of life when you come to the fullness of the place of the best version of yourself per time and you begin to understand who it is that God has called you to be, Jeremiah. Imagine the kind of life you will live. Imagine the kind of person you will be. That's what becoming is all about. That's what becoming is all about. And it doesn't really matter how far gone you think you are. No matter how long you stay in the wrong direction, it's still the wrong direction. Restitution and hope begins the day you turn around, ask yourself the right questions, and you begin to look your way forward. And you begin to get clarity to your vision. And you begin to ask yourself the questions that connect you from where you are to where you ought to be. That connects you from the place of your being to the possibilities of your potentials. That's what becoming is. That's what I'm calling you up. That's what I'm not just talking to you, I'm speaking to you. That's what the pathway of champions is all about. Become. Don't just be like. Become. It's 22 minutes past 8 o'clock. I've been here since 7 p.m. and I really just wanted to do an hour today, but we had a network glitch, so I had to go off and then come on again. And it's really been so amazing just sharing my heart with you. Let me look at a couple of comments again. Chiamaka is becoming my star, my star viewer. It says, wow, deep full insight session. So I think I'm really lost in thoughts about where I'm currently. Well, questions lead you, beget consideration, right? So you're consumed. I'm really lost in thoughts about where I am currently and the very many potentials yet untapped on my inside. I'm all get up and set on the pedestal to becoming. Thank you so much for this. Thank you for joining and thank you for sharing your thoughts. with me. Okay, so we're looking at what else is this? Uh Rachel. Rachel. Rachel says quite an enlightening session. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And to everybody that's joined in on all the platforms, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn. It's been amazing sharing this Sunday evening with you. Next week I'm going to be having some guests in my house. It's going to be an amazing, super, super amazing episode. You don't want to miss it. Trust me when I say you really don't want to miss it. And remember, you have to become. All right. So catch you again. Have a great time. And cheers, everyone. Take care of yourself. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely holiday wherever you are. It's weekend. Enjoy the weekend. In Nigeria, it's banking holiday, Monday and Tuesday, public holidays, right? So rest, build up, think, show up to work whenever it is you're going to work, ready to take control, showing that you have become, be the best version of yourself, and keep working. The Power of your champions. We'll connect real soon. Take care, everyone. Much love. Good night.